Ludicrous Feed is proudly sponsored by mycar, Tyre Auto, Carloop, data to empower Australia's EV revolution, and Hankook, driving emotion. Hello everyone, I'm Tom, this is Joy.
Hello.
And welcome to today's review of the GWM Canon Alpha Ultra PHEV variant here in Sydney. Let's go check it out. Okay, so naturally I'm going to compare the Canon Alpha Ultra PHEV with the Shark 6, which is pretty much the only other PHEV of its class here in Australia. So in terms of pricing, the Canon Alpha is more expensive by $9,000 compared to the Shark 6. For ABN holders, driveway in New South Wales for this car is $67,490. Both the Canon Alpha and the Shark 6 are all-wheel drive. The Canon Alpha here in front of us has a slightly bigger battery, 37 kilowatt hours versus the Shark's 29. This is an NMC battery versus the Shark's LFP. It's got a bigger fuel tank, 75 litres versus Shark's 60, both run on unleaded 91. This has got a 2.0 litre turbo engine versus 1.5 for the Shark. Pretty similar powertrain in terms of power and torque, and 0 to 106.9 seconds, so a little bit slower than the Shark. This has a supposed 116 kilometre NEDC range versus the Shark's 100. I'll talk about range and efficiency a bit later on. It's got a total range of petrol and electric of 1,060 kilometres. Both the Shark 6 and Canon Alpha can charge at 6.5 to 7 kilowatts, single phase. Both can charge at a respectable 50 to 55 kilowatts DC for a PHEV. The Canon Alpha's vehicle to load is 6 kilowatts, same as the Shark. But towing is where the Canon Alpha stands out, 3.5 tonnes, which is pretty much the industry standard for a vehicle of this size versus the Shark's 2.5 tonnes. Total weight of 350 kilograms. Pretty similar dimensions in terms of length and width and height to the Shark. It's got a slightly longer wheelbase of 3.35 metres, slightly lower ground clearance of 2.1 metres, and also very similar trail length of 1.5 metres compared to the Shark 6. It's got a slightly better warranty at 7 years for vehicle and 8 years for the battery, and it's got a 5-star ANCAP rating rated for 2024. Alright, so there are actually at least 4 variants of the Canon Alpha. There's the Canon Alpha Lux and Canon Alpha Ultra. Lux being the base, and then Ultra, which is this one. It's like a higher spec variant, and then PHEV for both specs as well. So you're looking at about a $10,000 difference between PHEV versus non-PHEV. Like, I don't know what to say about a Ute. I guess, you know, Utes to me all look very similar. What's important is that it doesn't look too different from the other Utes on our streets in Sydney, so that's something at least.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I've got to say, I think the BYD was a winner in this department. There was just something about the Shark that just looked very cool, didn't it? Whereas this one it's not that inspiring. But hey, you don't buy a Ute for its looks. I don't think, anyway. But hey, I'm sure a lot of people will probably now be typing away in the comments about the fact that yes, you do buy a Ute for its looks.
Yeah, look, I'm not in the Ute buying market, but you know, for me, a Ute is quite a utility vehicle, obviously. So
Who would have thought that, huh?
You buy it for its usefulness, right?
Yes.
And its ruggedness and its utility.
And its function.
And if it looks a kind of secondary in my opinion, but you're right, the Shark I think probably does win slightly over this car.
But I would say, yeah, as you said, the big thing is the fact that this can tow like that much bigger load, isn't it?
3.5 tonnes, which is the same as the Ford Ranger. It's going to be able to tow a big caravan, which is what people want, right, essentially. Okay, well, let's go around this way. GT Tyres. GT's an Indonesian brand based in Singapore, just out of interest. 18-inch, I don't know, I find it's not quite filling the wheel arch. I don't know too much about Utes again, but it does feel like it's small for this vehicle.
I know, and again, yes, we know nothing about Utes, but just looking at the size of it, it just seems like the car was built for something, like it was expecting something bigger in that space.
Yeah.
I mean, don't know whether it looks...
This is a press car, so I'm sure you could fit out your own tyres if you like.
True.
Yeah.
But as in, this is the standard wheel that comes with this car?
Yeah. So PHEV, is to let you know, is indeed that. Look, a bit of leftover mud from the last press loan. That's not us. 360 camera.
Does that mean this can go off-road?
Oh, yeah. This is what it's been designed for. And I think this is where GWM wins out, right? Because GWM is well known for that space. It's like making light commercial vehicles, trucks, utes, vans.
And you see heaps of them, even on the roads here in Australia.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, they're well known for their work vehicles.
Yeah, they're very proud to tell us last time we went to one of their events that they've made the top 10 vehicles in Australia, top 10 selling. So yeah, GWM's quite well established now in this country.
Well, they know what they're doing when it comes to these types of cars then, isn't it?
So roof rails as you'd expect. Big flatbed tray. Is it still called a flatbed?
See,
No.
I'm too small to do this.
Let me do that. No, it's not a flatbed, is it? I mean, it is flat, but I guess flatbed you'd think like a tray, whereas this is like more of a tub, I guess they call it a tub. Charge port is on the right on this occasion. CCS2. Petrol's on the other side. As we come around this way, and of course spare tyres there. 350 kilograms of tow ball weight versus 250 for BYD, so again the wins out in that department. 4x4, so I think it's got the off-roading capabilities. Not that we're going to test it today, but I mean this is what this brand is known for, right? So that kind of ruggedness, and we'll show you all the 4x4 controls in the car in a moment. Rear camera, which is pretty good once we have a look inside. And hopefully this works. There is a couple of ways to open this this tub. So if you hold onto this button here, it should just flop out. Okay, so I had to fiddle with it a little bit today and yesterday when I got the car. So obviously an easy entry this way, but it's also got a barn door opening, so it should open out this way. So fingers crossed this works. So just a gentle press. Nope, okay, didn't quite get that right. So I think it's a bit fiddly for this car anyway. Nope, and again. Okay, let's be really discreet. You've got to press it very lightly.
Third time's the charm.
Okay,
There.
so hear a little click, it should open out this way. So one door and then another little latch here.
Oh,
I'll show you the latch first, yep, it's just there.
okay.
Yep, and then you step back and you should see it open like a barn door, like that. So I mean, that's also quite useful in its own way. You can get closer to the car like that. So we're actually going to go to IKEA to buy a Billy bookcase. So we've done the measurements and the hypotenuse should be long enough to fit that bookcase. So fingers crossed that should fit. But I'm sure there are a bunch of accessories you can buy to, you know, cover the tray and all sorts of stuff to go camping and whatnot.
Like the hooks and stuff. You could hook like
Yeah.
netting and.
Yep.
Yep.
Now this car's got V2L, so vehicle to load, but this is where BYD wins out again. So BYD had 3 power points here.
That's right.
Yes.
It did. Yes. I remember that.
So that was quite useful. Unfortunately, this car does not have that. You're going to have to plug it into the charge port we saw earlier with an adapter to get your power point supply.
Yes.
So that's one
So
thing.
an additional step and a bit more fiddly.
That sounded good. I felt really rugged doing that. Yeah. So petrol cap is on this side. And this is really cool. This window actually opens out from inside. We'll show you that in a second. Yeah, so that's pretty much the external walk around, everyone, of the GWM Canon Alpha Ultra PHEV. And it's in black and shiny, so even better. Big black shiny ute here on Sydney's North Shore. And I'm going to stand by the fact that these dual cab utes are a family vehicle. That's what, in Australia anyway, people buy them for family cars.
I mean, when we went to the shop yesterday, I counted the number of similar utes that were also in the car park. So I would say it was about 1 in 5 cars was one of these.
It's so popular.
20% of the
In
cars.
Australia, it's like SUVs and then utes like this.
Yep.
So I can see why they're bringing this to the country. It's got a pretty decent door close sound as well. Listen, it's not bad. It's ringing around the whole car park here, just to let you know it's here.
Yep.
Boom.
And again, everyone gives you way as well.
Yeah, like the king of the road again. Let's hop inside the second
By
one.
everyone, I say the other 4 out of 5 cars that aren't this car.
Someone literally backed up for me the other day.
Okay, to be fair, it was a
let me see.
Friday. It was a Friday night, and everyone was like buying dinner after, I guess after work, a work week.
Yeah.
So that's why there were just so many of these.
Did you see the way that seat rolled back? It's got easy entry on this side. Oh, for both sides, right? The outboard seats. So you can actually adjust that as well. Power controls for the rear row, that's
I
not
know,
bad.
that's
It's not bad.
touch of luxury, isn't it?
And I think Joy forgot to say they're tinted as well. Let me just close.
I think that's 3 out of 3 now that I haven't said that.
Yeah. So yeah, a privacy glass on the back. See how the windows roll down? Yeah. Just do that again. See, roll down like that. Pretty sturdy door handles too. And obviously a little step up to climb up. Nothing like climbing into a vehicle. That's how you feel important. Quite nice soft finishings. Infinity sound system, which is so-so.
I mean, you don't buy this car for the sound system.
Well, it's a family car. Maybe you should. Maybe you should. I can see these getting more luxurious over time, I must say.
Maybe, but yeah.
Bit of piano black there, but I think overall the styling is not bad. Wood grain. See, I didn't quite like the styling in the Havel. It was a bit too much going on, but I think this is a bit more toned down, so I quite like the styling actually. You want to hop in there and I'll climb in the other side.
Oh, that is a very solid thunk, isn't it?
Okay, let me open the sunroof too so that we've got more light in here. Well, powered sunshade anyway, and it is a proper sunroof too, I'm going to show you too. So you can actually vent that and then you can open this up all the way. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's go back in here. So, flat floor first up, which is good. Excellent. And then 2 USB-A charging ports.
Interesting.
USB-A, yeah.
Old school.
Interesting, but old school. And then this is cool. So I showed you the window before. You can actually open it. So I'm going to push this. Joy's going to pan up there. How cool is that?
That is adorable.
Hello.
I want to shake hands with you.
Nice to see you again.
I-
So I guess if you want to reach for stuff in the back, I don't know, a bit of ventilation perhaps. You don't feel so claustrophobic. And you can sort of discreetly halfway open like that too.
Now, I've never actually seen the Mad Max movies, but I have seen a lot of zombie apocalypse movies, and I feel like this is where the normally you've got a person out the back holding a gun and shooting all the zombies off the side, but you could actually be in the comfort of the cabin now and then just poke the gun out this way, which is a lot safer. I always feel for the poor character that has to sit up the back because they're the first to go.
It's like a little turret hole, isn't it, in the castle rampart. I'll show that again. Okay. Now, so, family car, luxury meets utility. I think GWM almost got this right. Space down here, that's pretty cool.
I always like that.
Yeah.
The additional storage space. And Qi charging. For yeah.
It's cool, right? And then the
yes, the one that I'm not. I'm never sure how well this will hold up if you've got young children.
Yep. Yeah, but look, perforated seats. I think. Look at this. I rarely see ventilated seats in the back. I see heated seats sometimes, but ventilated as well.
That is true.
Pretty cool, right?
This is actually pretty luxurious for the second row.
It's not bad. And manual vents, of course, for you. And look, you can adjust the passenger seat from this side too.
Yes.
And because I'm not super tall, I can hang onto this to get in. So cool being high off the road.
You look so smug.
I'm very happy. I hate to admit it, but it is quite fun being in a ute this tall. Hooks and stuff, it's good. Yeah, it's quite nice. Quite nice. And then, you know, this is good for winter, get your vitamin D, and then close it for summer, which is good. Yeah. Chunky middle section there you'll see once we get in there, as you'd expect for a ute, so that you feel like a king or queen. All right, let's hop in the front. Now look what Joy discovered.
Yes. I feel like it could hold a torch, isn't it? Like an emergency torch.
Yeah.
Or like
anything you want. Flare for the zombies. We've got to show the. I think you can fall down too. Let me just pull this down. Let's move that. Now I think there was a toolkit in there. Let me just go around the other side. Okay, I think there's something here to explore. I think.
And it's 40-20-40. That's the other thing, isn't it? Because normally these things are 40-60-40.
Yeah. Anyway, while we fiddle with the middle seat, there is a toolkit here, as I promised, inside this pocket.
I mean, there must be, because there's a... you know what?
What'd you do,
You've got to pull it up before you pull it down.
Oh, well done. Okay.
Sorry.
Takes a woman's touch.
Yeah, don't just pull it this way. You pull it
it's
up
not always
first.
brute force. Very good.
And then it just comes down like that.
Well done.
Like so.
That's why I have Joy on these videos. Help me out.
Oh, sorry. That was your knee.
There we go. Now you can put stuff
and
in,
that tool?
in the cabin.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. And look, there's the child restraint anchors too.
Only on two.
Yeah, on the outboard seats.
Yeah. I mean, this one just seemed a little bit squishy.
True.
But yeah, I mean, if you had just the one child, normally people like putting the one child in the middle, but you'd have to put them on the side.
I mean, maybe this is the press car. Maybe the delivery cars have the middle anchor.
Yeah, but true. Actually, the other thing though is that even with one child, it's often better to have them near a window. It's easier for you
to get them out, but safer to be in the middle, right? terms of like security.
I don't know. I think it's always difficult with such a young child to get them in and out of the child seat anyway. I remember those days.
Oh yeah. Okay, so being a PHEV, the engine's at the front, so there's no front or bonnet storage. Hello, Joy. Fighting those zombies off. Let's have a look at her side. So very similar styling, of course, as you'd expect. Lumbar support, powered seat controls, as you'd expect as well. These have massage seats via the screen too, by the way. Both front seats.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so in vehicle in the settings, and then front passenger. There we go.
Yes, yes.
Very similar to another car that we've seen with the settings.
Catwalk. Catwalk. What is catwalk? Is that just gonna like?
What are you experiencing?
I can't. I'm experiencing not much. Let me try a different one. Okay, I mean this one, the Serpentine, I should know what it does.
Yes,
so
it should be like a snake crawling up and down your back, right? Fight the zombies off in style and comfort.
It's subtle. And again, I don't know why I chose Serpentine because, as you know, that's going to make me nauseated. So,
what else we got?
Just back. Just back. What's?
It's subtle, right?
It's subtle.
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's not. Sometimes when it's too strong in cars, I feel a bit nauseated. So.
Yeah.
Especially when you're driving, you don't want it too strong.
But as the front passenger can have it really strong.
True. Let's check out this glove box. How big is it? You'd expect it to be chunky. That's, very useful there.
Oh no, look. Low, medium, high. But it was already on high.
Ah, okay. Butterfly should be what? Rolling around your back?
I can feel butterfly though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to jump into the front driver's side, but check this out. I love this
the
clock, old school clock in the middle.
It's beautiful.
Now there is connectivity in this. I don't think there's a SIM card because I can't do much with it, but I'm pretty sure there is connectivity because you can software update apparently through the screen. But I wonder whether this is also electronically synced with the time so that you don't have to adjust it, because I can't think of a way unless there's a way to unscrew it, maybe to pull it out. I don't want to do it in this car, but yeah, I don't know how to manually do it quickly.
It's so beautiful though, and
nice,
and the way it's lit as well, like backlit or whatever.
Just the little
not
things.
backlit, whatever it is, however it's lit, it
illuminated.
just looks absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so my side also got powered seat controls, etc. Nice deep storage here, nice wood grain, usual window controls, and mirror controls are all manual, which is fantastic, very easy. Nice chrome that breaks up the wood and the plastic, and not too much piano black, which is good as well. So they've done, I think they've done the styling quite well. Head-up display, which has got snow mode, and soft up here too. So all the good things as you'd expect. Let me climb up and put my wide lens on. So let's hop in. Now the first thing that pops out at me in this car is that the instrument cluster screen and the center display has been dramatically improved from other GWM cars I've sat in, including the Haval H6 recently, and even the Aura, which I thought was probably the best of the lot. But this is now the best of the lot. I think they've upgraded the infotainment completely. So well done, GWM. It looks very similar to the other Chinese infotainment systems, and that's a good thing. They do it very well overall. So steering controls first up, pretty easy to maneuver. I'll go through them in a second. And then down here you've got the petrol button, what do you call it? Petrol, not
cap.
charging. Petrol cap? Yeah, petrol cap. It's been a while. Nice pedals down here. And then over here, look, buttons for AC. No temperature control. It's up on the screen.
What is mode?
Mode is, so that
Oh,
brings
that
up the
brought
different.
up but that brought up like the temperature thing. No, it's the mode for the air conditioning.
For the aircon, okay,
Interesting,
right.
yeah.
I think it'd be better to have the climate, temperature control here as well as a button. They've got the fan speed.
Unless, does it do something different if you're on a different screen? Or no?
maybe.
Is that its only function?
Demisters here, which is good. Qi charging, which has got a privacy screen. And then in terms of storage, you've got this big, massive, chunky armrest, very chunky. Slidey tray, very versatile, and then deeper storage down here. And
Is that a 12 volt?
now, price for what this
No.
is. I've asked GWM what this hole is, and they can't And also trying to work out what that hole is.
I assumed it would be either like a 12 volt or...
Let's see, look at this icon here, or this imagery. Is that like...
Up means on, you know, and then that's just like a light, isn't it?
Light or fragrant? Maybe sometimes in China the cars have got fragrance things, like bulbs you can put in there to make it smell nice.
I can feel
Air?
something against my hand,
Oh.
so maybe it's just air.
Maybe it's air. Yeah, I feel like this should be
Ventilation,
fragrant.
maybe it just means ventilation.
Yeah, maybe. Now this can actually be removed, this cup holder. So, yeah, I think there's a way to pull it out.
Oh, the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it. So extra storage if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite good, quite versatile. Quite utility.
Who would have thought in a Ute?
Okay, so let's go through the 4x4 controls. So this is where I guess GWM shines here with their off-roading capabilities in this car, or Ute I should say. So low range 4x4, and then you've got rear and front differential locks in case you get stuck, or if you've got a wheel in the air, so that you've got equal amount of torque to both wheels. I'm not going to test that today, but that's what it's for off-roading capabilities. And then big gear shift control, and this mode is for the different drive modes. So sport mode, comes the engine, back to normal, eco mode, 4x4 mode, 4H, slippery kind of conditions, and back to normal city driving. Hear the engine rumbling now.
Yeah.
So, yep, auto hold. Why that goes off, I guess I'm not in drive. Park brake, EV modes versus smart mode versus intelligent. So back to EV mode, HEV and smart. So the difference between, EV mode's pretty obvious. It's just as much electric motor as possible. Although sometimes the engine does kick in for some reason, especially if you're trying to accelerate, then the engine kicks in, which is kind of counterintuitive because you would think EVs are better at like accelerating off the mark. Yet that's when the engine kicks in. So go figure. Now, intelligent is where it prioritizes the efficiency of the engine and tries to keep the battery at whatever setting you have it at. So that's where intelligent is useful. So, for example, if you're going camping, right, you want to preserve that battery, then you would put this on and save the battery power and have a high threshold. So I think that's what the main difference is between intelligent and HEV. HEV obviously is like a mix between the two. At low speed, it's EV focused. At high speed, it's where the engine kicks in for efficiency. So similar to BYD in that regard. Yeah, so that's pretty much a walkthrough of the interior.
Nope, you missed the most important thing.
What did I miss?
Sunnies holder.
I apologise. Yes.
And you've even got your sunnies in there
true.
and you forgot about it.
That's true. You're right.
That's always like one of my favourite things because it's actually quite rare.
It's a big plus. Yep.
Yeah.
I like the white trim actually at the top here. Just makes it look a bit more plush.
Yes, although as someone who wears makeup, that is just going to look like all the remnants of my face after a while.
Yes, true. I've seen that in press cars. You see that makeup smudges sometimes. Visor, big fat visor, not too fat. Lid, yeah. Does this extend out? Nope. Standard. Driver monitoring, all manual vents too. So easy controls. And then the cruise control. Well, first of all, the indicator is on the left-hand side. No, apologise. It's on the right-hand side. I was thinking Chinese car left-hand side, but no, they've actually bothered to make it right-hand side for Australia. And auto lights, auto wipers, and then there's a separate stalk here for active cruise control, which I'll show you when we go for a drive as well.
What is M? Is it some sort of...
Off-roading, yes. So if you want to change the gears as you're off-roading at low speed, then that's where you put it to M, and then you can paddle shift like that.
I was going to say, and then how do you change the gears?
Yeah.
The plus and the minus.
Correct, up and down.
I can only see plus, but I assume this is the minus on the side that I can't see.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yep. So what I might do is actually run through the infotainment screen and the instrument cluster screen. I think it's worth doing. It's some interesting features there, so I might get Joy to hold that. So again, like I said, the infotainment, they've really upgraded it. It looks much better now than previous GWM cars. So the main things I want to go through is power. So you can actually have energy stats like that, which is pretty cool. I've noticed it's actually quite high. On my last drive, I got about 72 kilometers from 100 to 15%, and that's when the engine kicks into HEV mode. at an efficiency of around 40 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is actually quite high. The BYD Shark was 30, and most SUVs sit around 15 to 20. So I'll go through that in the instrument cluster a bit later on. So not as efficient as other PHEVs we've tested. And then I'll show you some more here. So it's got an in-house nav, which is great. And then Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is wireless, fantastic. You can do car settings this way, so just go through that. Memory positions for the driver, ×3. Driver seat massage, went through front passenger massage as well.
I'm still enjoying my massage, as you can see.
Second row welcome, which is the easy entry, head-up display settings, cabin monitoring, ADAS stuff, charging outside the vehicle. There's settings out there too, which you could play around and customize. Ambient lighting is there as well. Now drive, and switch between the three of them, like I said, EV, HEV, and intelligent for reserving the battery. Park, so if you want the indicators to, wrong side. You turn the indicator to the left when you're driving and put into drive. You'll see the camera come up like that. What about the right side? Yeah, I guess it comes up as well. Good. Back to park. Okay. Yep. Smart drive. Yep, all the ADAS stuff is here. And then workshop mode. There we go. And there are more settings too under settings. So there's two kind of settings screens. There's connectivity by Bluetooth, hotspot if you've got a SIM card in here, Wi-Fi. You can play with the sound. We'll talk about the sound probably during the drive.
Sound effect settings, is that like the pedestrian warning, or what is that? No, that's a in-car stereo sort of thing.
Yeah, equalizer is here too,
Right.
so yeah, I have it on, I should have it on default. Yeah, I think my son was playing with this earlier. He put the mids down because he wasn't happy with the mids being muffled. And I don't blame him.
Something.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say, no, as long as it's on 24.
24, yeah,
Yes.
that's important. I like PSI. Voice activation. And yeah, system update. So yeah, no SIM card at the moment, but you can software update like that. Yeah. And the main ones, and then I'll show you in the instrument cluster, which I think looks quite good actually. You've got the nav here, and you can actually have Apple CarPlay Waze navigation running here as well in the instrument cluster, which is really cool. Okay, so we both have our seatbelts on, so let me show you. So last 100 Ks, like I said, the efficiency is quite high at 38s. And then that was my last range test, so I got 70-ish before the engine kicked in. And the efficiency has come down, but it was sitting at 40 without any petrol usage. Yep, you can see the energy usage when we're driving later on. Yeah, so fairly useful information there. It's telling me there's quite a lot of petrol range, 843 Ks. Odometer's 1772. So that, my friends, is pretty much a run-through of both screens and the interior. Your thoughts on the styling?
I really like the clock.
Me too.
I'm such a fan of that clock.
So old
It
school.
makes me want to like buy one and stick it on my car.
The Rolls-Royce has one too, by the way. Rolls-Royce Spectre, which you can take out.
Yeah, but I mean, look, you can probably just buy like a stick-on version and then stick it in the car, because it's so pretty.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
It's like a blend of old and new. Yep. Okay, well, I guess it is time for us to go for a highway test drive. Let's do this. And just quickly down here, there's also USB ports A and C, and tiny little storage as well. And there is also a 12-volt socket. It doesn't go through to the other side, I guess because it's got a drivetrain running through the middle, I suppose. But yeah, just for that side only, for driver's side only. Alright, so time for our test drive, and let me just, I'm going to show you what I've got down here on the instrument cluster. So we've reset everything, so it's back to 0. So from here we can tell you what the efficiency is very soon. Have it on EV mode as well, as you can see there. So like I said before, when you accelerate in EV mode. The engine kicks in, which is weird. Makes me question whether it is meant to be an EV first vehicle, don't know, or is it just an ICE ute with an EV component attached to it. So I'm still trying to work that out in my head. And also there's a bit of a lag as well with the accelerator, despite it being on EV mode like this. Like you just see when we take off here in this traffic light. When I put my foot down, it'll take a little while to get going. See, now I'm going, so it's a good second before it goes. It sort of goes against what EVs are in terms of like instant acceleration. So yeah, just a little note there. Now, one thing I'll just say about the suspension, I'll say what I feel and then I'll let Joy decide too, because on the driver's side, I feel like it's a fairly comfortable ride. In the BYD Shark, there was some shuddering, some noticeable shuddering as we were driving along. In this car, I'm not feeling that as much, in fact, almost nothing. But you're having a different experience there on the passenger side.
There was more yesterday, I have to say. I haven't actually felt it as much today, interestingly. But yes, there was a lot of that shuddering again on this passenger side yesterday, which is interesting. But I think it must be, when you're going at low speeds, because I don't feel it as much on this road where it's just open. But it's definitely still, I'm still wobbling away here. Wobbling, I don't know whether that's the right word for it. I feel like jelly, yeah.
I mean, it's not super smooth, but nothing like the Shark. There was a lot of shuddering in that car, but this one, not that sort of vibration.
I think it's just a ute thing, right? That we're just not used to.
Yeah, must be. Now just showing you here, so the Waze is up here with the nav. We're going to IKEA, which is about 45 k's away. And then it's also appearing here as well, which is really good on the instrument cluster screen. So I'm getting that twice, which is excellent. It's very rare to have Waze covering like the instrument cluster screen as well as on Apple CarPlay in the middle there. So hats off to GWM for that experience. And head-up display, which you probably can't see, but I can see the speedo and also the visualizations as well.
Of like what lane to take, is it?
Yeah, I can see the lane marking as well, which is quite handy. So we'll see what it looks like when we go for a drive on the highway on cruise. Okay, we'll get back to you guys very shortly. Alright, so just a few twists and turns through Delhi Road here. And look, there's probably not much point talking too much about handling. I feel like I'm driving a truck, which I guess I am in some ways. Big turning, big long wheelbase, 3 meters long. Starting to see the efficiency climb up a bit, although having said that, it's jumped down because we are going downhill. It was sitting around 39 before, now it's come down to 31. Getting some regen.
I should just note, for those people that take things literally, this is not actually a truck. Tom does not have a truck license, and he's not saying that this is a literal truck.
No, it's a pickup truck.
Yes, I'm just clarifying that.
Thank you. All right, bit of traffic, but we'll show what the efficiency climbs up to uphill in a second. Okay, so past the traffic, and yes, there's no one pedal driving. I feel like the regen could be stronger. I'm going to press the brake quite often. But we've got it down to 28 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers going downhill, so let's see how high that climbs now. Going uphill, everything that goes down must come up. Well, everything that goes up must come down, whatever the way. Yeah. Life balances itself out eventually. You know what I'm trying to say? So uphill we go. We'll talk about the efficiency in our summary, but efficiency does matter. Like if you're traveling at around 40 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, you kind of question, well, why should I charge this car every night to use the electric if it's so inefficient, right?
At 40, does that make it actually more expensive to run than petrol?
Yeah.
Or no? Because
to do the maths on that.
Yeah.
You're right.
How quickly can you do napkin maths? But
yeah.
Okay, so say you charge it at what, like overnight, like sort
10.
of.
Let's say we get 10.
Okay, so 10 cents.
So if you're doing 40, it's like $4 per 100 kilometers, right? So yeah, versus like what, tank of petrol get you 1,000 k's, say, well 900 k's on the petrol. 75 litres at $2 a litre, it's $150.
Okay, but it's U91, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wouldn't be $2. It's like
Well, it depends.
$1. Well, say a dollar.
Say $1.50.
$70? $1. Okay, $1.50, which would be a really good price.
Yeah.
But say $1.50.
$1.50, 75 litres. It's like $100. So what did I say?
Still cheaper,
$4
isn't
for
it?
100Ks. Yeah, so still cheaper with electric, still.
Okay.
But not as cheap as it could be
Yeah.
running an EV, right?
Yeah.
Or even the Shark.
But it is still cheaper.
Yeah, so now see,
Okay,
with
there you
uphill
go.
climbing, it's up to 32 now.
Even with our napkin mats, it is still cheaper.
Yeah,
At double the cost.
yeah, still cheaper. So I'll be curious to see how this goes when we get on the freeway, actually. So stay tuned. We'll show you in a second. Okay, accelerating. Here comes the engine on EV mode. Yay!
No lurch whatsoever, obviously.
No, definitely no lurch. 0 to 106 point. I think it was 6.9 from memory from the stats and the specs. Here we are on this road. Some of the noise is coming through. Ironically, there's no vibration because it's being absorbed by the big car.
Yeah, like I said, all that shuddering and wobbling about is at low speeds. I don't feel it when you're going probably anything more than 60. I don't really feel it.
Okay.
It's really, in fact, probably over 50. I don't feel it.
Yeah, so obviously on a highway like this, you're probably better off using HEV because petrol is more efficient than EV on high speed. But just for the purposes of this experiment, I just wanted to show you the efficiency on electric and just how it handles on the electric motor. And then I'll show you also the cruise control. Let me just get back in this lane so no one can complain I'm hogging the right lane. So this little stalk down here, so just double click this forward.
Intelligent cruise activated.
And now it's intelligent cruise activated. As you can see there's a green wheel. You can just zip up by 5s, I think. Zip up and down by 5s. And
Look, I know you made fun of the voice,
Yeah.
but as someone who, when I press a toggle and then I'm always like, did that do anything? I actually don't mind that it said something.
that's good. And you can also adjust, obviously, how close you want to follow. So now I'm going at exactly 100. Right, on the highway. So be curious to see whether we can how far we can get to Marsden Park IKEA from 80%, which you should, on an NMC battery, regularly charge to 80% rather than 100%. So again, bigger battery, but for longevity, you should charge to 80%. So for a 37 kilowatt hour battery, 80% of that is what? Something like 25, right? No.
So from a small
Close to
number to
30.
an even smaller number, basically,
so
really, though.
about 30, so same as the Shark, really. But Shark is LFP, so you can charge to 100.
I see. So in terms of like usable every day, it's about the same then, because
the same.
one's 80% that you can use really, and then ideally you don't actually want to use 100% every day, isn't it? So,
Although the caveat is that this car can drain it. The battery can go down to 15% before the engine kicks in, whereas the Shark, that'll happen at 25%, I think it was from memory, or 20%. So the threshold is higher in the Shark.
okay.
Yeah, so you actually can use more still, but this is less efficient. So a few factors
You might
to
reach
consider
it
there.
sooner anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So all right, we'll keep driving for now. Again, I'll just test the what do you call auto
Lane
steer
keeping.
component. Yeah. And again, testing against BYD's terrible auto steer. I mean, so far I found this to be better because I've tested previously too. I think it's less side to side ping pong. You're sort of keeping in the middle quite nicely.
It's also keeping the speed as well. It's not really randomly slowing down.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we'll keep going. It's still around 34.9, 35 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We'll see what it looks like when we get a bit further along on the highway. So we're just coming off the freeway, and check out the efficiency. It's actually dropped right down to 30. It's pretty good. Still high, I know, but better than 40, I suppose, on mixed use. And when you turn right, you can put the cameras on like that, or turn left rather, anytime you put the indicators on. This camera shows both sides of the car. That's quite useful for a big vehicle like this. Alright, we have come to IKEA and we have conquered. And now we're off. Okay, so the return journey at night here. Efficiency's climbed just a bit as we make the return trip. 33.5. Nice bright lights, of course, as you'd expect. Okay, so we're down to 14%, which means that the EV mode is over, and we're now HEV mode. You can see that we finished with the efficiency at about 32, so a bit better on the highway, interestingly, compared to urban roads. And 73 kilometers, so from 80% down to 15%, which is 73 kilometers. So enough to get from home to IKEA and then sort of almost back. I guess if we had charged 100%, probably could have made the rest of the way. Okay, so you can see now that EV mode is run out. It's back on Smart or HEV. I have it on Smart, so it's got a threshold of 80%, which means that the engine is now acting like a generator. It's charging the battery up, and then even in drive, as the engine is driving it, the battery is also being charged by the engine at the same time. So you can power the wheels and also charge the battery simultaneously. And just when you think there is enough storage, but wait, there's more. In the second row under the seats, there's even more storage. So there you go. Both sides of the outboard seats have got extra storage like that. Super handy. You got kids, I guess, and just need to store more stuff. We always need to store more stuff, don't we? Endless stuff as humans. There you go. Oh, I also just worked out that the USB cable, once it's plugged in there on the driver's side, can actually be fed up through this hole. See that? That's the same lead into that hole there, just near the wireless Qi charger, so that the passenger can use it as well. Right, so Joy is going to drive the Ute.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, when have I ever driven such a big car? Yeah, I feel like I'm driving a boat. It's so big. Indicator on the...
As off-roaders will go. Not sure of Sydney.
Yep. I see what you mean by the head-up display.
Pretty quiet as Utes go.
True, in EV mode anyway. Yeah. Which I guess is a nice thing about it. To the point where because we were waiting before for these people to cross in front of us, they didn't actually realise, because it's so silent, like a silent Ute, right, which they weren't expecting, and then suddenly they looked up and realised that we were waiting for them, and they basically jumped out of their skin, because obviously, you know, there's this like, giant black vehicle, which isn't what they didn't even realise, that it was there. So it's like a ninja vehicle when it's in EV mode.
You can probably hear the very low pedestrian warning sound. Just the low hum whine.
Yep. But I think the Shark was like this too, isn't it? It was like a monstrously big vehicle, and yet so silent when it's driving in EV mode. Yeah.
We've used the engine to generate a charge for the car, so we stopped at about 15% we saw last night. Now it's like 63-ish%. So it's done its best to charge the battery over the last 60 odd kilometers. It's probably not the most efficient way to do it, I think. Probably not the cheapest either. Probably best to just plug in each night or every couple of nights.
I see what you mean by the lag to accelerate. Feels very heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to push the foot down on the throttle a bit to get it going.
Yeah.
On EV mode anyway.
Which is the opposite of.
I was going to say, yes, what EV should be. And the Shark is not like that. It actually goes a bit more, you push down.
Now, left or straight?
Let's go left.
Okay.
Which again concerns me as to whether this is an EV first vehicle. The philosophy may not be there, right? Where it's kind of the EV component is an add-on rather than it being a first thing, and then the petrol's like a backup. So obviously as an EV reviewer, I'd like to see it being EV first.
Did you feel the BYD was EV
I
first?
think so, I did because like the motor's kind of priority most of the time, whereas this one you push the accelerator any harder, it'll engage the engine even on EV mode, as I said earlier. So we'll talk about that in our summary, like, you know, what are the benefits of this car?
I must say I've gotten used to the drive fairly quickly. So there's that. Like, it's not a difficult car to drive despite its size, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it turns the way I would expect it to turn,
Pretty responsive.
except for the fact that it's
Oh, the lag.
there is a really noticeable lag. Half a second, I would say. It's actually really long, like half a second.
I heard you push your foot down and then
Yeah.
it started to move a bit later.
Yeah. But again, having not driven an ICE car in, I don't even know how long, then I don't know whether is that what ICE cars do?
Yeah.
I have completely forgotten.
Generally,
Is there
a bit of a lag.
is there half a second lag? It's like a satellite delay from like the 1990s. Yeah, half a second is crazy.
Okay, so a bit of a freeway driving experience for Joy here in the tunnel. And just as a passenger, I'm not experiencing any of the shuddering I was in the Shark, just which is good compared to what it was.
I don't feel it as a driver, but I definitely felt it, like I said, on one of the drives, but then not on another drive. So it's weird. There must be something that triggers it, which I think it must be at low speeds, because I'm not going at a low speed at the moment. I'm doing 75. So
But see, the Shark, I was feeling it all the time. Whatever speed we were going at, I felt the shuddering. So that's one thing this has over the Shark.
Yes.
It's a
But
nice
this
drive.
does have some shuddering, but for me it was at low speeds, and
Yeah.
only as a passenger. I haven't felt it so far as a driver.
Okay.
I had to completely floor it, and it did absolutely nothing. So my foot is flat to the floor.
You hear the engine kicking in now?
Yep.
Yeah. That's weird. And we're on EV mode, of course.
Okay. Yep. Very interesting. But yes, it's like, come on. But I mean, I guess it is a monstrously big vehicle. But was the BYD? I do feel like the BYD was more responsive.
Yeah. At least in like EV mode.
Yeah.
But then again, in like smart mode or HEV mode, the same thing. It's still a bit of a lag to push the accelerator.
In the BYD.
In this car.
In this one, yeah.
car. No matter what mode you're in, there's still a
I do
lag.
feel the BYD was a bit zippier. Like, I don't remember it being sort of like ponderous to, to do anything.
Let's stay in this lane, and then we'll take the first exit, which is not far.
I felt a bit of lane keeping there.
Nice being high off the road, though.
And I think all the cars must be like, wow, I'm overtaking a Ute because I'm going below the speed limit. I do find it a bit trickier to keep to a certain speed. I feel like my foot on the accelerator is kind of like going up and down, up and down.
Yeah. That's why I have it on cruise control. Just don't have to do that.
But I mean, I don't need to do that in other cars. It just kind of keeps the speed limit, keeps at whatever speed I'm doing a bit.
Yeah.
Well, not better, but as in
Yeah.
What am I trying to say?
What you're saying, it's easy to speed up in this car because it's
Yeah,
so
to
big,
speed
there's
up or
momentum.
slow down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas other cars, it's like if I keep my foot at like a fixed angle, it keeps the speed better. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Keeps the same speed for longer, more regularly. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Okay, we'll give our final thoughts very shortly.
Okay, now, as someone driving this massively, monstrously big vehicle, I feel completely at ease with this beautiful, beautiful camera angle. It means I can confidently like just slide right up and do like, yeah, any like parallel parking. It's great.
It's very useful.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. And it also seemed to pop up anytime you went into tight sort of spaces like in other car parks and things. It would just automatically, just magically appear. And I think that's actually really, really, really helpful and handy. So yeah, major thumbs up from me.
All right, so it's time to give our thoughts on the GWM Canon Alpha Ultra PHEV, and with thanks again to GWM for offering us this vehicle to review for the last few days. And you know, we can't do a final summary without comparing it to its natural competitor, which is the BYD Shark 6, of course. I think what this Ute does well is that, you know, it's from a brand like GWM where it's well known for this space, this light commercial utility, you know, rugged kind of vehicle. So that's what the GWM Canon Alpha has going for it. It's got a 3.5 ton towing capacity. It's got off-roading capability. And also it's got luxury features as well, as we've discovered inside the vehicle. So utility meets luxury, but I think where it might fall down is probably the drive dynamic compared to the Shark 6. So I'll let Joy maybe talk about some of what she thinks this car is good at too.
Yeah, I mean, I think what for me really stood out was just all the creature comforts in the second row, especially. I think, you know, it's normally like the second rows, sometimes there just isn't that much thought put into it, but I guess for like a working kind of vehicle, although you always say this is a family car, yeah, it's all there for the comfort of whoever's sitting up the back.
Yep.
And yeah, having massage seats is always nice in the front row as well. Sunny's holder, I love my Sunny's holder. And the clock is so beautiful. I really can't get over how beautiful the clock is. But just from a practical point of view, I think, yeah, so the fact that, I mean, obviously knowing nothing about like, you know, towing or utes or anything, but I can imagine the fact that this is able to tow heaps more than the Shark. If you are getting this as a work vehicle, if you need to pull something that big, then there's only one choice, isn't it? Because this is the one that can actually do it as opposed to the other one. But in terms of like actually driving the car, this one is really, really slow off the mark. Like it's like half a second delay between when I press the accelerator and when the car actually moves forward. So if that's an important thing to you, where you know you want the car to be like quick and responsive, you'll get that in the BYD and you won't get that in this one.
Yeah.
But if that's not an issue and you need the towing capacity, and you know it's not a big deal if it takes half a second between pressing your foot and something happening, then this is the one to go with.
Yeah. I feel like for this car, if you want a serious like workhorse that can tow, go off-road every now and then, I think this is probably going to be the winner.
And with a surprising number of kind of like creature comforts too. Yeah.
And it's got a slightly bigger battery too, so if you want to use this for camping, then you can use the V2L facility over the Shark. I mean, the Shark's got quite a big battery too, but this has got an extra 7 kilowatt hour. I guess that brings me to the drive dynamic and also the EV component of this vehicle. Look, I feel like the EV component has been kind of like tacked on as an addition rather than like being a first for this vehicle as a PHEV, right? Whereas the Shark 6 is like, okay, electric motor comes first. The engine is like a generator most of the time. Whereas this one, it's like, well, yeah, the EV component's like an afterthought. I'm not sure what the actual philosophy of the branding is, but for me as a consumer, I feel like it's an addition, right? It's like, you know, the accelerator's slow, as Joy said. And then it's not as efficient in terms of like kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer compared to the Shark.
I kind of feel it's like a ute with a battery that, like a battery that can be used more for the work site, and then it happens to also be able to drive the car if you need it. But yeah, as you say, it kind of feels secondary, isn't it?
Yes.
I feel like if you were to get this car, it's more that you are using it probably on petrol pretty much. and that, yeah, it's kind of like if you wanted to, you could use the battery component of it, but
It is still more efficient and probably cheaper to charge this car rather than going on petrol all the time. But it's not as efficient as the Shark 6, even though it's got a bigger
yeah,
battery.
it doesn't feel like it was designed to drive on a battery, isn't it? Is
as
that how you
much.
feel?
I think so. Like,
Yeah.
just as a consumer, that's the kind of feeling I get driving this car the last few days.
So I guess if you've never driven an electric vehicle before and you take this for a test drive and you think, well, that's not what EVs normally drive
that's right.
like. So
Don't get the wrong impression.
don't get the wrong impression of EVs. But then again, I mean, it's good that it has the option to drive in a EV mode, but it's not exactly the best example of an EV mode. But it's good that it's there. Yeah.
Look,
Better than nothing.
I get it that EV Utes probably may not be there quite yet because you do lose a lot of range with towing with such a big car like this. So, I mean, obviously as an EV reviewer, we'd like to see a full EV Ute that we can review one day. But if we're not quite there yet, then I want to see definitely a Ute that's EV first, like the Shark, with the engine used as a range extender or a generator. So a bigger battery and then the petrol as a backup.
And I hope we're not sounding too negative because we're honestly excited to see lots more cars that have this as an option. So we're just being really picky as to like what things could improve on. But we're just already so happy that these kind of products exist and that these options are there, and we're happy that all the brands out there are actually like making them in the first place. So yeah, we're don't get the wrong idea. Like we're happy that
It's still early days.
Progress is being made.
It's still early days.
Yeah.
There's 2 PHEVs worth talking about. Okay, maybe 3 with a Ford Ranger PHEV, which we haven't tried yet. But yeah, maybe 3. And then hopefully with the LDV E-Terran coming very soon, full electric Ute, we'll see more full electric utility vehicles come into this space, because that's what we want to see. More efficient Utes that can do the job, as well as become a luxurious family vehicle as well.
And just like the BYD Shark, this is it is actually so much fun, and the kids have such a blast, you know, in Utes in general. They love the tray, they love sitting up the back, and this one I think wins out with its little window, the window for the zombie apocalypse. So, you know, if you had to choose between the BYD or this GWM in a zombie apocalypse, I think this one wins out. And with the little side, you know, on the doors where you could fit like a flare, the emergency torches and flares.
So you're convinced now that a Ute can be a family vehicle?
Yes, I guess. But and I guess as a driver, I actually kind of think, apart from the fact it takes half a second to accelerate every time, the cameras make such a difference. And the fact that they came on automatically at sensible times when you would actually want to be able to see where the car is in terms of, you know, what might be on the side, would make someone like me a lot more confident in driving this monstrously large vehicle, which I wouldn't normally be comfortable driving. So that is a big plus from me as well.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Well, this I think we'll end it there, and I think I think it's definitely worth looking at if you want like an electric. Well, it's not quite a full electric Ute, but if you want to head into that space, but you still kind of want the capacity to tow and to like a work vehicle, then this might be a good compromise between electric and ICE. So we're almost there, but yeah, good to see a full electric Ute from GWM hopefully in the next few years. Otherwise, final thoughts?
I really love the clock. I know that's such a small thing, and it's like probably, you know, I mean, it's not really a car thing, but
it's the small things do add up, and that could tip someone over from this over like the Shark, for example. So those are the things to account.
Because I mean, you'd be looking at it every day when you drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like these barn doors. I'll just step forward a bit. See how they open up like that. That's pretty cool. So you can get closer to the car like this, as opposed to sitting on the tray or the flap, right, or the what do you call it, the tailgate. Sitting on the tailgate, you can actually sit on the vehicle. All right, well, that's it from Joy and myself from Ludicrous Feed. Thanks again to GWM for the loan. Until the next review, it's happy charging.